What type of bills do you usually need to pay?
I usually need to pay bills like rent, utility, including water, electricity, or gas. Other than that, I also need to pay subscriptions, for an example, internet and streaming services, etc. as well.
Do you prefer paying your bills with cash or another method?
I usually prefer myself paying online. It could be via mobile banking or online banking because I think it's more convenient.
Okay. Have you ever failed to make a payment for a bill?
No, fortunately, till now, I have not failed to make any kinds of payments because I think if you are organized, you can pay your bills and reduce any lapses.
Can you think of anything that might reduce your regular bills?
Yes. By reducing your water usage, or if you think about electricity efficient practice, your utility bill can be reduced. Other than that, if you think about your subscription bills, then you can also reduce them as well. In my case, I did them.
So this is the end of part 1. Let's move on to part 2. In this part, you have to describe a food or drink you like to prepare. This is your cue card.
Okay, sir.
And this is a paper and a pencil. You can take notes if you wish.
Thank you, sir.
And you'll get 1 minute for this. From now, your time starts. So your time is up. Would you like to start now, please?
Of course, sir, I would like to. One of my cherished dishes to prepare is a Bengali traditional dish named shorshe ilish, or hilsha in the master sauce. This is a traditional Bengali dish rich in flavor, and its oily structure with the hilsha fish has created it a significance in Bengali history. So I like to talk about this dish today. I learned this recipe from my mother. My mother is a wonderful cook and she cooks Bengali traditional foods and dishes very deliciously. I learned this when I was in my hometown. My mother taught me when it was some kinds of festival. I remember it was family gathering. So I learned it, as I mentioned earlier, in my hometown, which is Alanga. And I learned there when it was a family gathering and there were many members were present. And when I went to my kitchen, my mother was cooking a traditional dish and she was cooking the exact same dish. So I asked my mother if she could teach me how to make this traditional dish, and my mother replied with an affirmative answer, and there I learned this traditional dish, how to cook, from my mother. So cooking this dish was really hard, first of all. This dish actually needs much more ingredient. The ingredients for the sauce and the mustard, which we prepare to marinate the fish. Everything together actually make this dish more aromatic, actually. The aroma of this dish filled the kitchen when my mother cooked, and for my mother when I cooked the dish. So at the end, I would like to say that this dish not only represents the Bengali culture or heritage, it also represents the beauty, how a traditional dish is made. It also represents the Bengali culture, the tradition that we are maintaining for decades.
Okay. May I have the cue card and the paper and the pen?
Sure, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Could you describe the location and time frame when you first learned to make it?
Of course. As far as I remember, I first learned to make it in my hometown, in the kitchen. I remember it was family gathering, and the kitchen was bustling with crowd. And there I asked my mother if she could teach me, and my mother taught me.
Were there any memorable experiences or challenges during the learning journey?
Yes. About challenge, I remember when I was learning to make this traditional dish, the challenge was you need to master the art of marinating the hilsha fish, where each and every piece will absorb the same master sauce harmoniously. So this was hard to accomplish because, as far as I know, I was struggling to marinate the hilsha fish, but at the end of the day, with the help of my elders, I was able to marinate the fish harmoniously.
Have you ever shared this recipe or skill with someone else?
Of course. I shared this recipe with my friends, with my relatives, Bengali and non-Bengali as well. As far I have heard from them, their experience was overall positive because this dish represents the cultural heritage, and they was flabbergasted to know about the beauty, and they were tremendously happy to make the unique flavor in their tradition as well. So yeah, I think they actually really liked the recipe.
Okay, this is the end of part 2. Let's move on to part 3, and I have several questions in this part. Do you believe that cooking skills are important for young people to learn?
Of course, I do believe cooking skills are tremendously important to young people for learn, because cooking skills not only generates their responsibility, it also evokes them and enhances their personality as well. It represents their sagacity, their credibility, and it also makes them to be responsible for themselves. If they cook for themselves, they can understand the traditional cooking styles and dishes as well. So overall, I think every person, every young generation's people should understand how to cook, and they should practice their cooking skills as well.
Are there any benefits a person can gain from learning how to cook at an early age?
I think cooking from a very early age fosters the sense of creativity. It also improves the person's overall performance and, as I mentioned earlier, sagacity and credibility. Other than that, I think cooking from an early age can make a person aware about a balanced diet. He or she can understand the benefit of food, can understand the traditional dish and how to make them. It's a valuable skill as well. So I think cooking from an early age is essential for everyone.
In your opinion, how does the popularity of fast food impact the cooking habits of the younger generation?
I think nowadays, as you can see, the popularity of fast food are increasing. So I think this has a negative impact on the younger generation. Because particularly, I think that as far as they want to cook for themselves or for their family, easy packaging fast foods are decreasing the motivation because they can get it so easily. So I think it has a negative impact, and the fast foods are easy to get, and they are decreasing the overall motivation of the younger generation.
What measures can be taken to encourage young people to cook more and rely less on prepackaged or fast food?
In my perspective, I think to encourage young people to cook more and rely less on prepackaged food, educational initiatives are essential by including short recipes into school curriculums can foster students' creativity into diverse cooking world. Other than that, I think community-based cooking class can be taken. And other than that, of course, the cooking criteria should be mentioned so that they can understand the diversity of the cooking. And by introducing them to different kinds of traditional foods, they can also foster their creativity. It can also enhance their motivation as well. Additionally, by creating awareness about the prepackaged thing among individuals can also improve their motivation to rely more on homemade products, and they can also cook more for themselves as well.
Okay, this is the end of part 3. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining this session.
You're welcome, sir.